For more reaction to this story, we're joined now by political analyst Thembisa Fakude. Looking at this, Thembisa, we are, of course, entering into uncharted territory. It will be the first time, if ever, we'll find that the National Assembly will remove a head of a Chapter 9 institution if they do manage to get that two-thirds majority. Here's how the advocate Dalimpofu describes this particular process. Says, what we are opening ourselves up to is a cesspool of illegality into this impeachment process. Should we have waited a little bit for the court processes that are still pending to be finalized?
Well, the court processes were already afoot or in process. And I think the timing of the president, given that the public protector decided that she was going to go ahead and investigate, many people argued that it was unfortunate that the president had to act on the eve of a court judgment. And he had to act after himself found himself in a much more unenviable position, which the public protector had promised that she was going to take it up and investigate. So the timing is problematic, and I think it gives some credence to what Advocate Dalimpofu has been saying, that there's some suspicion on why the president had to act so quick soon after the public protector threatened to investigate or started issuing those questions.
It could be argued, though, that this Section 194 process has not been brought by the president of the ANC, but by the Democratic Alliance, who are, of course, complaining about the public protector overreaching her bounds of authority, harassing victims and intimidation of staff. Does it make any difference, I suppose, in terms of how it looks, the optics of the politics, whether it's brought by the DA or it is now being conducted under the auspices of an ANC majority committee, so to speak?
Yeah, the timing is problematic, I mean, in anyone's view, because the president had enough time to institute whatever decision he had in mind way before his trouble started. So for him to have made the decision following his own troubles raises some kind of concern, and it gives ammunition to advocate Dalimpofu and the public protector that indeed this is politically motivated, and the president had his own personal ideas on why he went ahead to remove the public protector.
Public protector participation in the process in protest, she says, but saying that the voting part of it should be done via secret ballot. I'm sure she is well aware that there's a great division, particularly around this matter of her impeachment, and she's relying on the secret ballot to be her saving grace, in a sense that they won't be able to get to that threshold of a two-thirds majority. Is it likely going to happen?
Well, it's going to be very embarrassing for the ANC and for the president if it doesn't happen. And the fact that they're pushing for the secret ballot is because they know that the other factions, or the so-called RET faction within the ANC, might vote otherwise. So it will be extremely embarrassing for the president if the vote goes against his will. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think, again, this whole political gambling, particularly from Advocate Dalimpofu in particular, we can all see that these points at him in terms of giving the public protector an advice to go on this route. So if that does happen and it favors the public protector, we might just find a president with an egg on his face.
Now, of course, we know that the Public Protector's Office is certainly backing this particular process legally in terms of financial backing, but the acting Public Protector has pulled out, for example, of her appeal of the decision by the President to suspend her. When you look at that playing out, is the acting public protector within her right to do so? Is she being influenced in any way?
I think it's the right thing to do. It's a more professional thing to do for her to excuse herself during this process. It gives her some sort of credibility, and I think she'll come back empowered after this as having acted very professionally. So I don't see anything wrong with it. And again, public protector, we need a public protector that's apolitical, public protector that's going to represent all South Africans. She or he mustn't be seen to be taking sides, particularly on matters that involve political squabbles. So I think it's the right thing to do for her to have stepped aside during this period.
Now, overall, of course, this puts a spotlight on the role of the public protector. Looking at the cases that she was investigating, the CX, for example, case that put her in trouble, and at some point she makes recommendations, for example, and tells Parliament what to do, and Parliament turns around saying, hold on, you're overreaching here. Your job is not to tell us what to do particularly. I mean, has it certainly cast a shadow in how she performed in that office?
I think she has made a lot of missteps, a lot of mistakes. I'm not quite sure where she gets some of the advice from, but she has made a lot of mistakes and created a very adverse public opinion towards her, and as a result, undermined the office of a public protector because of those kind of decisions. I'm sure that she regarded some of them as being revolutionary and gallant and brave, but they have to an extent, compromised the office of a public protector, particularly because she has lost a number of cases, and she's been taking fights that were obviously unwinnable, and she went ahead doing that, and in the process compromising this very, very important office. And I think many people are now looking at a period post Mkhwebane where there will be someone who will bring a semblance of stability and credibility to that office.
Now, of course, the head of the committee saying the committee is really going to ensure that all processes are adhered to, there's fairness, and the public protector will be given an opportunity to see the report before it's released, and she can comment on it, and so on and so forth. Knowing her appetite for litigation, especially of late, are we likely to find might as well find ourselves in a situation where even this report of the Section 194 committee would be challenged in a court of law?
Well, she's certainly going to fight this to the end. She will go to the last platform where she can raise this issue. I don't see her giving up easily on this, particularly given that daggers are drawn and the wall and the lines are drawn in terms of him fighting the president. So we are likely to see this going on for a very long time. It will take, I think, the Parliament to kind of terminate the process, but outside that, we are likely to see her taking this matter as far as she can. And unfortunately, at some point, she will have to make a decision, because you can't fight the state and you can't fight the president. And as I've said earlier on, she continues to undermine and compromise the credibility of that office by continuing with this gutter fight with the authorities, particularly the president.
Will this certainly have any impact on the machinations within the African National Congress and the build-up to their National Elective Conference at the end of the year? Well, indeed. I mean, it's very obvious that she's supported by the so-called RET forces. So this has a lot to do with the ongoings with impacting the process leading towards the national conference of the ANC in December. So it's going to be quite interesting for some of us who will be observing, but I'm not quite sure whether the public protector will win this one. And, the advice, if I was in her shoes, is to save the money and make a decision to live quietly and restore the image that that office deserves. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think she's in office right up until 2023. Looking at that, she has literally less than 12 months still left in that office. One would say by the time she finishes these battles, her time in office will be up anyway. Yeah, they're up anyway, and she's also accumulating legal fees, because I don't think the state will be footing the bill in terms of illegal fees. So she's accumulating all these legal fees. She's been losing all these battles ever since, and this is another one. So, one would have hoped that, gauging and measuring the financial implications on continuing with this. One. Two is, importantly for me, is that the compromising of this office, it will take
hard work again to resuscitate that credibility. And if she's really interested in saving this office and ensuring that the stature of the office is maintained, she must just live quietly, because it's all apparent that she won't win this war.
Thembisa Fakude, appreciate your time and your analysis this evening.